Hello everyone, it's Mike, back with a FansCam, discussing the game yesterday between West Ham and Burnley, where West Ham won 3-2. And like London buses, 2 wins on the trot, which is, we haven't seen for a while, and I certainly haven't seen for a long time. When we left Upton Park, I didn't really want to leave Upton Park, and I couldn't bring myself to come to the London Stadium for 4 or 5 years, I think. So I didn't start going to, probably about 4 years. I didn't start going to the London Stadium until about 6 years ago. And living in Cornwall, it is a bit of a trek and costs quite a bit of money. So I have to pick certain games. Last week, I picked my lovely wife Alana up from the airport at Heathrow. So came up, try to link in a game with that. So did that. This week, my wife and my stepson Harper attend the Remembrance Sunday. Harper's dad took his own life serving in the forces, so they've always been supported by Scotty's Little Soldiers, which is a charity which looks after children that have lost their parents in the armed forces. So they go up to that quite often. So obviously it makes sense if they're coming up and there's a game on for West Ham, I'm going to try and take it in and we'll come up together. So that's what I did. So yeah, 2 games on the trot, unheard of for me, living down in the sticks these days, but and 2 wins. I will say, I think I come back to watch games probably 4 or 5 times a season, if I can. I'll get to as many as I can do, money permitting, obviously. And I think last week was the first game that I'd actually seen us win in the flesh, at London Stadium. And now we've won 2. So like I said, London buses, here they are. So yeah, just before I get on and talk about the game properly, I was supposed to speak about the day, because it was quite an amazing day, really. Quite an amazing, doesn't really go together. It was an amazing day. Started off meeting me, flew up Friday, stay at my mum's when I can, which is just in Aldwood. Meet my Uncle Mike, and we normally go to the games together, which we did this week. And we both said that we wanted to attend the protest, which we thought was important. So went down to Stratford, nice and early, or earlier than normal perhaps. Got there for just after 12 o'clock to meet up with everyone for the march. And what an amazing hour or so that was on the march. It was brilliant. For me, really felt like proper old West Ham. I guess it was the people that were there maybe, but it felt like we had a bit of West Ham back, really. It was brilliant. Loads of people there. I was lucky enough to catch Gonzo, so walked around with Gonzo and his family, and there was Mark from the West Ham Way, he was there. Bumped into Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV and had a chat with him. He's always, Mark from the West Ham Way, like I say, he's always good for a chat. I do think the boys that do this, Gonzo, Gio and Mark and Gatesy and Dan and all that lot, I do think it's quite lovely that they sort of give their time to have a chat, because I suppose weirdly, as far as West Ham fans are concerned, they're celebrities, aren't they? Because we watch them. And it's so lovely that they're happy to give a bit of time and have a chat back, because it must be quite daunting sometimes, because they must have quite a lot of people want to talk to them. Uncle Michael was desperate for a picture with Gonzo, which he was over the moon with. And so big thanks to all you boys for taking the time to certainly have a chat with me, because it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I didn't get to see some people. Unfortunately, there was a lot of people, really good turnout yesterday. A lot of people there. Managed to chat to a few people that I'd certainly never met before, but missed a few people as well. I was really hoping I could get to catch up with the amazing Mr. Stephen Dye, but I didn't get to catch up with him. And it would have been lovely to have seen the fantastic Mr. Robert Gates as well, but unfortunately I didn't get to seeing. But it's to be expected. I was lucky I saw the people I did, to be fair, because a lot of people there yesterday. Really, really good turnout. Thousands and thousands of people there. So it was chuffed, and it was a really good time. Like I say, walking along, loads of singing, loads of people meeting up on the way through, loads of chat and a bit of banter, and it was really good. Like I say, for me, it felt like a bit like West Ham. It's funny, we was talking in the morning, and I used to love going to Upton Park. I used to get out of the station, turn right, walk down the street, and you felt like you was in West Ham. There was stalls there and all the shops, and everyone felt like they loved it. Not just the people that were going to the games, but the people that were around it as well. I'm sure there are people that weren't, or didn't, but it always felt welcoming and wanted before the games. And I remember walking up, if you walked up at a certain time, you could hear the singing in the ground already, and it was I know it gets spoken about a lot, but it was an amazing experience and totally different to what we get at the London Stadium. And I think people don't really, I know people talk about it a lot, but I think outside people don't really understand, or perhaps even newer fans don't really understand what it was like at Upton Park, and the experience of just even walking up to the stadium before the game. It was fantastic. I mean, I was quite lucky to get in the Supporters Club a few times and walk out the door into the turnstiles practically, and then you're in the ground. So totally different experience. You get out of Stratford Station, and you either walk round, you either turn right and walk round that way, and there's there's not really any West Ham there. The road's deserted or shut off, or whatever it is they do with it. Or if you turn left and walk through Westfield, you kind of feel like an inconvenience to be there to people. So it's a totally different experience. And then I know you've got like the lads selling the scarves and all the rest of it up to London Stadium, but it isn't the same. And it's funny because we were having me and Uncle Mike and my mum was having the conversation before the game, before we left, and on the way back to the station, we stood in the stop and go, and there was a bloke having exactly the same, almost word for word, what I'd said. I never met him before, didn't speak to him, didn't say a word to him. He will never remember I was even there, but he said word for word what I said, and I think that's just speaks volumes, really. But the protest was brilliant, really enjoyed it, fantastic turnout, and big thank you for everyone that can go. Obviously, don't forget there is people that can't go for various reasons. Their work wouldn't allow them, injuries, work commitments, I suppose. So there's loads of reasons why people can't attend. But there was a really good turnout, and I felt humbled by it. I think I'm nothing to do with it other than turning up, but felt fantastic. So well done to everyone that attended, and obviously the organisers who've done a fantastic job. All the getting it ready and all the rest of it. What a brilliant effort and a fantastic job, because it went perfectly. No trouble, no issues. Brilliant. So well done everyone, and look forward to the next one. But so if we move forward to the game. Before the game, the lineup came out, and it was exactly the same from Newcastle, which I think was very much needed. We needed some consistency from the starting 11, I think, and we got it. The game last week was brilliant. West Ham played really well. The team played so well, and I think I put a lot of effort into that game and got their rewards for it. So, well played for that, and it was great to see that the boys were rewarded. Obviously, I'm talking about people like Potts with another start, so I was really pleased to see that. Game kicked off, and I, maybe for the first 5-10 minutes, thought we played quite well, knocking the ball around really well in the middle of the park. The passing seems to be much better, and I think some of it's got to be down to the coaching, and some of it's got to be down to the individuals that are playing. I think Potts, Paquetá and Fernandes played really well with each other. The ball's moving quickly, and they're moving quickly, if you know what I mean. I think we started the game well. Burnley did grow into it themselves, and they started to take control of the game, I think, a little bit. I don't think we played with the same intensity that we did in the previous game. And look, no game is ever the same, so you know, you can play the same team twice in consecutive days, and the game will be completely different for various reasons. But I don't think we had the same intensity. But the effort was there. I think the will to do it was there, but we were lacking a bit of intensity, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Burnley, I think, came into the game, and then they obviously scored. Ball come over from our, I think came over from our left. Yeah, it did. And then Kilman got beat quite easily in the air, which is a bit of a shame because he had a good game last week. Don't think he was anywhere near as good this week. Wasn't as poor as he'd been, but I don't think he was as good as he has been last week. But yeah, got beat pretty easy, really. Shame, and they went 1-0 up, and okay, all right, we've conceded first again. But yeah, it's shame really. But we rolled our sleeves up and we went at them, and we managed to get it back to 1-1. And luckily, I was sat pretty much the same as I was last week in the Trevor booking lower, and really good view of the pitch. Well, especially where the goal was scored. Potsy took the corner. Shaw, Somerville came across, picked up the ball. They had a bit of an exchange, and then he passed it over. I was a little bit concerned that might have been an offside there, and they did check it, but there was no offsides, thankfully. He come across, had a shot, didn't he? And sort of there was a bit of a ricochet, and Callum Wilson was there doing striker things. What are the chances? And scored a pretty decent goal, really. You know, he had to be there. He reacted first, got his head on it, and stuck it in, and it was 1-0. And that kind of pattern, sort of a bit of a tug of war between Burnley and West Ham, continued for the rest of the first half. I think it was fairly even. I think there could be arguments to say that Burnley had the better of it, or West Ham had the better of it, really. But maybe Burnley did on the face of it. But we were in it. And look, it's really easy to say, Burnley are where they are. They're an easy team. We should be beating them. I don't really necessarily think that's the case with anyone. There are poorer teams at the bottom than there are at the top, obviously. But Burnley have just been promoted. They've had a decent start, to be fair to them. They're difficult to play against, and they showed that. They proved it yesterday. So, they stuck in and made it difficult for us, like I say. So, yeah, it was hard, I think. So, first half, come in, obviously 1-1. Come out second half, and I think Potts got injured, and Souček came on, and I thought, same as I did last week, I thought, oh no, is this the right sub to make? And I felt when Potts came off that we really lacked something in the middle of the park. I think he's the way he gets about the park and sort of pops the ball around between players around him. I think we really missed that. Look, Souček, love the guy. He's been a brilliant servant for us for 5-6 years or however long it's been. And, really like what he's done. But I do think age is catching up with him a little bit. But, he can still have an impact, as he went on to do. But, yeah, I really felt that we lost what control we may have had in the middle of the park. So a little bit later on, Magassa came on. Now, I can't remember if Souček scored his goal before or after Magassa came on, but what I will say is when Magassa came on, I do think that he brought a little bit more of that balance back to us. He gave us more of what Freddie Potts had, legs getting around. So I really think that made a difference, and I'm glad Magassa came on where he did. But yeah, went on. Souček made it 2-1. The ball came in. I think did Bowen have a go, or the keeper got involved somewhere and it dropped to Souček. and he hit it in again, and another goal for him, and really pleased for him to score a goal. And he's looking like our auxiliary second striker off the bench at the moment, isn't he? 2 in 2. So well done for him. Really pleased for him. Just like I say, I really do love him. I just think he's limited. He's limited in the midfield now. And we've got to appreciate that, I think, and not put him in situations that are going to be detrimental to the team, you know. But so it went 2-1 up, and towards the end of the game, I can't remember who did we take off. Somerville came off, didn't he? Walker Peters come on, who went on to score, obviously. Crikey, I can't remember who else. I'm sure there was another sub. Anyway, a positive substitution from as far as Walker Peters is concerned, and Souček driving at the defence this time. Had a shot from just outside the area. It sort of rebound. I can't remember if the keeper made a save or whatever, but it came out. And then Somerville's fighting Bowen for a tap-in. He said after the game that he's apologised to him. So yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see the goals spread around. I would like to see Bowen start getting on the goal train again. Not only because I've got him in my fantasy team, but also because I think it's important for him. He loves scoring goals, and I think that means a lot to him. So, but no, good to see the goals spread around. Hopefully people can stop pinching goals off Bowen, and he can get on the score sheet again. But we made it 3-1, and then I thought to a degree we sort of controlled the last part of the game until Burnley had a float. I think, did they float the ball in? And Areola, who had made some really good saves, one absolute worldie. I don't know if he knew much about it, but what a save in the second half. It was like almost point blank, just an absolutely stunning save. And I cannot for the life of me remember who that came from, but he did make some really good saves, but he absolutely cocked this up. There was a suspicion of a foul on the keeper. I don't think he ever had control of the ball, to be fair. He sort of butterfingered it, dropped to the floor. I don't think it's a foul if he hasn't got control of it. So I think it was fairly, you know, the foul wasn't given, and I think that's fair. And Josh Cullen scored to make it 3-2, which is a little bit, yes. I really liked Josh Cullen. I don't think he wanted to leave. I think he would have stayed with us. Got his teeth knocked out for us, didn't he? Bless him. He's small. He is small, but I thought Josh Cullen played really well yesterday. We did sort of give him a little bit of freedom. We gave him too much time on the ball. But listen, it's a West Ham academy player. It's good to see that he's had a decent career for himself in the end. I don't mind him scoring if it doesn't make any difference to us, but I suppose it does, because if we'd have won by two goals, we would have been level with Burnley on goal difference, and head-to-head we would have been ahead of them. So I suppose from that point it kind of made a difference, but we won the game and we got 3 points, and that was the most important thing. You know, whether it was 2-1, Josh Cullen doesn't score, or 3-2 and Josh Cullen does, doesn't really matter, does it? But good on him, good lad. I'm sure he still has a bit of love for West Ham about him. So yeah, nobody made a noise. There was no sound from anywhere when he scored, but I'm afraid that's down to Areola. So, but 3-2 it finished, and really pleased that we followed it up from last week to this week with 2 wins on the trot. I think it was really important going into the yet another international break. Obviously, we've got some really difficult games after the international break. All this, honestly, we play 4 games and then we're not playing for 2 weeks. We get some momentum and then we lose it again. But we lose most of the squad for the international break, which it gets on my nerves. But anyway, we've got, there's going to be a feel good feeling, and hopefully the boys go away to their countries and come back unscathed, in a good mood, and we can try and carry on the momentum after the international break. Obviously, Bournemouth away is going to be a tough game, but I think we can get up. We're capable of getting a point. We've showed that we're developing a team there, and the boys are growing. I mean, from you know, looking at the players yesterday, I think Wan-Bissaka and Diouf were, they didn't have electric games, but they played good games as they have, you know, they give a decent account of themselves and put themselves about and try to get down the wing as much as they could. I thought Kilman wasn't as good as he was last week. I thought Todibo, maybe turned a corner with Todibo. I thought he was good again yesterday. He was better than Max Kilman, in my opinion. Got his head on a lot of stuff. Composure, passed the ball out fairly well. I thought he played well. Areola, as I said, I thought he made some absolutely brilliant saves. Must have been 2 or 3 really good saves. One, like I said earlier, was a bit of weldy, but no, he did. He played well. Bit of a shame towards the end, you know, dropping the ball, but you know, ultimately it didn't cost us, but or hopefully it hasn't cost us goal difference wise. But he was all right. He was decent. I thought Summerville was lively, played well. The Paquetá, Potts and Fernandes trio seems to be working really well, and I think we've got to push on with that. Potts I thought was good again yesterday. He's again barking orders around. Really like to see that, really do. From a lad who's only just started playing in the first team really, and he's still quite young. So I thought he played well. Shame he went off injured, and I think it spoke a lot that I felt personally. I don't know if what you guys think, but I felt that our midfield lacked something when he went off. And it took a while for Magassa to bring some of that back in. So, yeah, I thought that. So I thought he played well until he went off. I thought Fernandes was brilliant yesterday. I thought he was really good. He was my man of the match, personally. I thought he played really, really well. Paquetá was not as good yesterday, I don't think, as he was last week, but the effort was there. Bowen, a quite a game from Bowen. I think I think he'd really like a goal. I think if he'd have scored that goal towards the end, that would have, well, it wouldn't change how he played, but sort of give him a lift for the next game. But look, he always works hard and puts a shift in, doesn't he? And Wilson, I thought he deserved his goal. He's played well last couple of games. I think we can't have asked any more from him, really. I think he's put himself about a lot. You know, for a guy that isn't like, he's not 6.5 foot that you seem to need to be these days to be a Premier League striker at the moment. I think he does really well. You know, wins a decent amount of duels. The ball gets hit from quite long from Areola quite often, and I think he does a really good job at holding the ball up or getting something on it or occupying defenders. Yeah, I think he's doing really well, really. So yeah, he's done good there. Yeah, I think we deserved the points. Really, really pleased to go into the international break. 6 points, you know, from, you know, what could have been 0 at one point, because, you know, after the first 2 games, Brentford and Leeds, God, it was looking dire, wasn't it? But we've turned it around. Have we turned a corner? I really hope so. But you know, let's wait and see how we go on and how we get on after the international break. So yeah, that was it really. So thanks for my very long waffle. Sorry for hopefully not wasting your time, but thanks for listening to me. Again, brilliant turnout for the protest. Really enjoyed speaking to many people. It was great, loved it, absolutely loved it. I'm still in Essex. I'm at my mum's, so I've got to make sure I keep this bit really clean, otherwise I'll get in trouble. Mum likes a tidy house. So meeting my lovely wife after the Remembrance Sunday thing, and then we're getting the train home, so I'll get home at God knows what time this evening. If somehow I'm home in decent time, I'll try and watch Grand Prix. I could try and watch it on my phone on the train, I suppose. I've got quite a bit of time to kill, although the missus might have the hump with me if I don't talk to her, because she's been stuck with Harps, a stepson, and that boy talks worse than me, believe it or not. So anyway, again, thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. If you've liked it, put a like on this one. If you've got any hype and you want to put some on, really appreciate it. Remember, Patreon, you know, if you've ever thought about trying it, please try it. It really is brilliant. If you've not tried it, you really don't know what you're missing out on. There is fantastic stuff on there. Really, really good. Overland and Seaward is hilarious. The boys get a bit fruity with their vocabulary, which is always very good. They know what they're talking about. They've got some really good stuff on there. Babbling Irons is on there as well, which is really good. The Player Rating Show, which is a great one with Gio and Gonzo. That's really good. I love that. And Stephen Dye does all the work for that, putting all the numbers together. You can win stuff. I could speak for hours about Patreon, but seriously, if you've never tried it, give it a go. It really is good, and you know, it's £3.60 and you get quite a lot of stuff for it. So give it a go if you can. And yeah, like I say, subscribe if you haven't. But listen, again, thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I've got, how many weeks have I got left of this? My Mexican mustachio. Not long. 2 weeks, is it? 2 and a bit weeks? I'll have to think of something else to do, won't I? Thanks again, guys, and come on, you irons.